good evening, everybody. ODAAT Wolf here, coming at you with another video. So, it's August 15, 2020. It is 5:12 p.m. and it's 109 degrees outside and very humid, very humid. Yes, it is. You walk outside, you start to sweat right away. So, let me begin. So tomorrow's a big day for me. Yeah, 8 years. 8 years of being sober. But this isn't what we're going to talk about today. We're not going to talk about the sobriety tomorrow. What I was going to talk about, I mentioned it the other day, I was going to briefly talk about my knee replacement. As all my family knows, some friends know, but I had a total knee replacement back in June, to be exact, June 8th. So I'm a little over 2 months post-op. Yes, yeah. Would I do it again? Yes, most definitely. Most definitely I would do it again if I had to. Because the pain I've had over the last several years, just ridiculous pain. And with that, I'll touch on that a little bit. But as you guys see, I'm sitting here at home, sitting on my recliner, relaxing here in the living room and everything. I'm going to make some dinner here shortly for Lady Wolf and I. I'm going to make some chicken breast with some homemade mashed potatoes, 4 cheeses, and a mixed veggie of some sort, probably. So this video is going to be kind of short, quick, but I'll touch bases on the knee replacement. So where do I begin? Let's see. So my knee problem started, when I was 19 years old. Yeah, 19 years old. And what happened was I fell out of a tree. I was trimming a mulberry tree, fruitless mulberry tree, for one of my grandmother's friends in a mobile home park. And I had a friend helping me, and this friend, I told him, to hold the ladder for me, that I was going to be climbing up the ladder, and I'm going to be cutting a big branch that needed to be cut. I mean, it was a big branch, because it was hanging over her mobile, and she wanted it removed. But the way it was going to fall, once I cut it, it was going to fall away from us, and not towards him or towards me, while I was on that ladder. And so I climbed up this ladder, and it was a good 15, 20 feet in the air. And before I started walking up there, I said, you got to make sure you got this ladder and hold it, because we had it on a little bit of an angle going up. And he's like, okay, no problem. I got it. And I'm like, you sure? He goes, yeah. And so I make my way up the ladder carrying the chainsaw. My dad's a little chainsaw. It was a little 16-inch Craftsman chainsaw. So I climb up the ladder, get up there, start the chainsaw. I start to cut on the branch. As I'm cutting on this branch, I could feel the ladder start to scoot. And I'm like, what the heck? And so then I cut a little more, and I felt the ladder move. I kind of looked down, and my buddy was gone. So I started calling out his name, nowhere to be around. And as I'm looking around calling out his name, all of a sudden I just feel the ladder just give out, and it just went down. It went, and I came down on concrete, under a concrete driveway, and landed on my knees, and I dislocated my right knee. Right away, got taken to the urgent care, because right away my knee just swelled up about the size of a large softball. Not the little ones, but the larger softballs. I mean, it swelled it so big, I couldn't even move it. I was in excruciating pain. And so my mom and dad met us down there, and my it was, now ex-wife, but it was my girlfriend at the time. She came down there, and so they did x-rays. They didn't think anything was broken, but my kneecap was dislocated. And the doctor says they're going to have to drain the fluid off my knee and put me on a mobilizer for a few weeks. And so they went to go drain my knee. It took the doctor, the medical assistants, and my girlfriend, or at the time, to hold me down to drain the fluid off my knee. And it took 10 cc, 3 10 cc vials of fluid off my knee. And then the doctor reset my kneecap back into place. And he says that I was very lucky that I didn't crack it or shatter my kneecap, better yet. He goes, because it only takes 4 pounds of pressure to shatter a kneecap. He goes, you're very lucky. He goes, you landed just right where it just pushed the kneecap down. So that's the start of my knee problems. So over the years, I've always had a little problem here and there, but it just got worse and worse. And the line of work I did, working in the casino for 15 years, walking around on the, hard floors, wearing uniform boots, similar to what they wear in law enforcement. A lot of law enforcement officers wear. So just walking in that pounding, constant, just pound, just really took a toll on my knees. And not only that, I was much larger then. I was over 300 something pounds, 400 pounds at that time. So my body just took a beating. My knees took a beating. And in the last couple of years, it just got worse and worse and worse, to the point where I was having so much pain in my knee, I guess I would compensate and try to alleviate a lot of the pain and walk more on my left side. Well, by doing that, I kicked up a problem with having plantar fasciitis, and they would have to do injections in my foot every other month, and did that for a while because I was trying to compensate for that. So I went to the doctor for my knee, and because it got to the point where I barely could bend it, and I was in so much pain. So they did x-rays, MRI. The MRI came back, the first one, and they said my meniscus was torn. And but they said they don't know what else is going on until they actually get in there. But it looks like I have hardly any cartilage left. And so they went in there, they did it laparoscopically, surgery, the first knee surgery, and come to find out I had no cartilage left. My ACL was partially torn, and my meniscus was torn. So that was fixed, and they did that in 2018. And the doctor says, well, you should get anywhere 5 to 10 years out of it. You should be good to go, take care of it. Well, no, I still do security, working on a medical floor where we're walking, we're on our feet all the time. I did the best I can to take care of it, but it didn't even last 8 months. Kid you not. Within 8 months, I was back at the office, and the doctor that did the first knee surgery referred me into CAA, total knee replacement doctor, see if I would maybe a candidate for that, because there was nothing else they could do. So I went and seen that doctor, and of course, they had my history. They're like, well, you've done everything. You've done physical therapy. You've done all the other surgery. You've done all the stuff, but you haven't tried injections into the knee. And what it is, it's a hyaluronic acid that they inject into your knee that gels up and makes like a cushion. So I said, okay. I go, well, with the first surgery, they went in there, they cleaned all that up, the meniscus and all that. I go, but they did a microfracture where they drill a hose into your femur and your tibia and open that when the bone marrow drains, it would coagulate and make a new cartilage. So that was what they were shooting for. Obviously, it didn't take. So I told him, he goes, so you even had the microfracture. He goes, well, again, you have done everything. He goes, the only thing you haven't done is injections. He goes, would you be willing to try the injections before we can see if you're a candidate? He goes, because you're too young for a total knee replacement. And I'm like, I'm 46 years old. Come on, I'm not too young. I'm almost 50. And he goes, well, let's try that if you're willing to try it. So I opted in, I went in and I tried it. And it's a series of 3 injections. You get 1 injection, a week later you go get your 2nd injection, a week later you go and get your 3rd injection. So it's very important that you stick to that schedule, because you can't skip a dose, because if you skip a dose then you gotta start all over. And these injections are very expensive. From what I understand, it's like $600 per injection to $1,000 per injection. Of course, my insurance covered it, but you know, it is something that is painful, getting injected in the knee. It's not a good feeling. I didn't like it, but hey, I tried it. The first injection, he put it in, it actually felt really good, worked. And so I went back for my 2nd injection, and that's the day that President Trump was in our town here in Palm Springs, California. On that day, I went for my 2nd injection. Well, I was the last appointment of the day, and because I had to work that day. And so I go in the office, I started talking to the PA, physician assistant for the doctor. And I noticed in his pocket, his coat pocket, when he came in and he took them out, he had a Kenalog, which is a cortisone, and then he had the clear one that was the one that like he gave me before. And so I'm thinking to myself, is he going to give me both of these? And I was going to ask him, and we got talking about Trump being in town and everything. The next thing I know, he goes, okay, we're all done. But I remember looking and watching him do it, and I didn't call it out. I should have, but he had injected me with a cortisone, and he didn't inject me with the other one, and I went on about my way. But as soon as I realized what had happened, once I started driving, I left the office, they were already closed. So I called the next day, all day long. And so I went into the office, got there just as they were closing, and so they took me to the back, and I talked to the doctor, the physician assistant that did the injection, and I told him, I go, I believe you gave me the wrong injection. And so he goes, are you sure? And he goes, hold on. And he walked out of the room and came back, and he goes, which of these? And he had the 2 different ones. He goes, which one of these did I inject you with? I said, it was that one. It looked just like that. It's milky and everything. It looks like Kenalog. He goes, okay. He goes, well, I'll go ahead and give you this injection, the right one. It shouldn't have any effect on it. And we'll just do the 3rd one next week. And I said, okay. So he did it. No effect. I didn't feel no different. And I went back for the 3rd one, and I told him, I said, I didn't feel no difference. I go, I don't feel like it helped. So he injected the 3rd one, and I could feel a difference already. And I asked him, I said, do you think it could be possible that it thinned it out, that Kenalog with the other one? And he didn't think so. And so I went back for a follow-up a couple weeks later, still no problem, still having problems with it. And so they sent me down for an MRI to get another MRI, see what's going on. And of course, I had narrowing of the joint compartment. And so the one different PA, physician assistant I seen, He goes, well, you're a candidate for a partial knee replacement, but he goes, I don't know if they would approve for you to have a total knee replacement. I said, well, I want a total knee replacement. I'm not going to go do a partial, then have to come back a year later because you guys be in here a year later doing the other side. I said, either we do it all now and get it done and over with, or nothing at all, and I'll just deal with it. He goes, well, they are doing a study for a new product called, it's a new product for knee replacements. It's a Lima product. Here in the US, they use a product for the total knee replacement called Stryker. And so he goes, Lima, they're trying to bring Lima product over. He goes, and so they're doing a study. He goes, would you be willing to take in that study? And we will follow you for 10 years. I said, well, I don't know. And he goes, we could submit that to the insurance and that you're going to be a part of a study. And he goes, and we follow you for 10 years. I said, okay, so let me ask, if I lose my job in 5 years from now, or I don't have the same insurance, will you guys take care of it? He goes, oh yeah, most definitely. So I said, so it's basically like an extended warranty on a car. He goes, well, I never thought of that, but yeah. So they sent it to the insurance. Right away, the insurance approved it. Within a week and a half, no, 2 weeks, I'm sorry, I got approved on the, he took me out of work May 25th, and June 8th was my surgery. So I had to do some pre-ops, testing and stuff, and before even going and having that done, a couple days before, I had to go have a COVID test done, and then quarantine at home, and then the day of surgery, I went in that morning, did the surgery. Surgery took about an hour and a half, and I had to take my walker with me also. And let me backtrack a little bit. Before the surgery, I had to do a hip and joint class, and where they teach you how to walk with a walker. They called it a gait class. Teach you how to walk with a walker, and also how to get up and sit down. So with that, I did the class, and so I was told to take my walker with me the day of surgery. And they said, I remember the nurse and the physical therapist that was in that class saying, it's very important that you move that knee right away, because the more you move it, it helps. They said motion is lotion, and I never thought of it that way, and it's true. I move it all the time. I'm always moving my knee now. But so the day of surgery, back to the day of surgery, showed up at the hospital with my walker, went back in the pre-op room, and they marked my knee and everything, and did the surgery. The surgery took probably about an hour, almost 2 hours, I think it was. And then I got out of surgery, and that same day they had me, as soon as I had all my marbles after waking up from being put under, they got me up, walking on my walker. I had to walk a good distance, and then the physical therapist came in and started to exercise right away. And then I went home. And then 2 days later, I already started physical therapy down at our physical therapy place. And they do the initial assessment of it, and then did a little bit of physical therapy. And then I went back the second time. So I was going twice a week. The second time I went to physical therapy, they had me on a stationary bike, doing all kinds of things. So from day one, pretty much just been pushing it and doing the physical therapy. So if you're having to go through this, push yourself to the max, I would say, because the more you move it, the better off you are. I do squats, in the morning. I do pullbacks where I use a belt, put it around your ankle, and you're laying with your legs straight out, and you kind of pull it back where it kind of goes into a bend. It goes like this, if you can see it. So you're straight, then you pull it back so it bends, and do that, and then you lay on your stomach. You do the same thing. You're laying on your stomach, then you pull your leg toward you like that, and stretch it, and then I do the squats. Like I said, I stand in the door, grab it inside the door jamb, and then squat down. Do that, and then another one I do is I'll put like a 10-pound or 5-pound weights around my ankles. Sometimes I'll put a little bit more and do sit in the chair and do leg lifts, straight out or kick outs, whatever you want to call it. Do that, and then the other one I do is you lay on your back, you roll up either a towel. I use a yoga mat, and you put your foot up on, like, say you got the yoga mat and you put your foot like this, kind of straight out, and then I take one of the weights and lay it across the top of my knee. And the goal is to get to 10 minutes, and I'm at 10 minutes on that. So I do started out light, and I've worked my way up. I'm up to 10 pounds. I could do 10 pounds for about 10 minutes on that. And basically what it's doing is getting your leg the flexion, where instead of being straight, where it bends back a little bit more, it gives. So with that being said, when I started, I was at 78% being able to pull my knee back once it's straight, laying on my back, pulling it back like that. 78% the degree. Up until a couple weeks ago, I was at 111%. They wanted to match my good side, my left side, and that's 120. So I'm almost there. But I haven't been able to make it to physical therapy last week or this week because Lady Wolf was exposed to somebody being positive at her work for the COVID. So of course she had to get tested, and because her working as a nurse and around it and coming home, I went and got tested also just for peace of mind. So why was it being tested and waiting on the results? I wasn't allowed to go to physical therapy, but I continued to do my physical therapy here at home. So I do my exercises. I go for my morning walks. As you guys seen in one of my videos, I go for my morning walk. I do about 2 miles a day, where when I first started, I wasn't able to even do that much. But yeah, I would do the knee replacement again if I had to. What they found out with the MRI was the narrowing of the compartments, which is the femur and the tibia in between, because I had no cartilage. So literally, he said I was literally bone on bone, which is very painful. They also discovered I had no ACL left. Finally went out completely. And the bones, my fibia and femur and tibia were starting to collapse. The bones were in my on the ends were starting to collapse because of all the rubbing and bone on bone. So yeah, so basically I caught it just in time, and they did it, and I'm part of a 10-year study, so I'm very happy with it. I've healed really nice. Every once in a while I have to take something for pain. Like today, I had to take something earlier because it's so humid, and so like the arthritis, it starts to hurt really, really bad. I know I'll still have a different type of pain. The doctor even said that for the next 6 months to a year, I'll probably have pain on that. Some of the side effects I noticed that I've had problems with since having this, it's really kicked up my restless leg syndrome, especially at night. I can't sleep at night sometimes because kept it up. And so I did some research, and it did say that people with restless leg syndrome, after having a total knee replacement or joint replacement like this, or abdominal surgery, major abdominal surgery, I guess because of the loss of blood and stuff, you go low on iron. And so I started researching what could help. So the doctor increased my medication for my restless leg syndrome from 0.5 to 1 milligram. And so what I do now, I take that 1 milligram, but before, about 2 hours before I go to bed, I take some iron, vitamin iron, and then I also take about a half a cup of club soda water, because it has I can't think of the name, what's in it, but quinine or something like that. I forget. Oh man, I don't have it handy right now. So I drink a little bit of that before bed, and then I take my medicine. And since I started doing that, I haven't had a problem with my restless leg syndrome at night kicking up. But I do, if I don't do my exercises in the morning and stuff, I could really tell a difference, because I haven't moved it as much. So I could feel it swell up a little bit. And again, it's still a healing process. You know, heck, I'm only 2.5 months, not even 3 months out. And it's still a healing process. But again, I know I said this, and I'll say it and say it again. The doctor that did my knee surgery did an awesome job, and I would do it again. If I had to do it, make that choice, I wish they would have done this a lot sooner, and I wouldn't have had to do all this other stuff. But the doctor I had, he was great, because I know of a person that had theirs done a week after me, and then I know somebody else that had one done after that. So I don't know what doctors they had, and I don't know how good they're doing, but hopefully they're doing well with theirs. But man, I know I'm doing well. I know I'm doing really well, and I'm very happy with it. No complaints. But the thing here, when having the knee replacement, you gotta remember, move it. Because if you don't move it, you lose it. Motion is lotion. Ice is your best friend. Get these ice packs. They're like gel packs, like a square. Got them on Amazon. We got 3 of them, as Lady Wolf and I did, off of Amazon. So, and elevate it. Elevation and ice are your best friends for this. And of course, getting out there and moving it around, because you got to move it. Okay, guys. Well, I said it was going to be a little short, and it ended up being almost 30 minutes, if not a little bit longer. I don't know how much longer it is. I can't see. But I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I'm going to get to making some dinner for Lady Wolf and I, because it's time to eat. It's going on 6 o'clock. I'm a little hungry. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great evening. Stay sober, stay blessed, and we'll talk again. Have a good night.